Okay. Hi, I'm Viveca.
Hey, I'm Vita.
That started really well. Okay. I'm a fourth year at Bard. I'm in the conservatory, so I'm doing a double degree. So my conservatory major is trumpet performance, and my college major is French studies and medieval studies.
Cool. Yeah, I am doing a joint major, art history and visual culture and French studies.
That sounds really cool. Why'd you pick those two?
Well, I had a really hard time picking a major at Bard, and I went through several different things, and then I kind of stumbled upon art history my sophomore year,
Hmm.
and I really enjoyed it. But then I was kind of like, I don't know, I was kind of missing something. I definitely wanted to add something on. And I had taken a few upper level French seminar courses with Marina, and I just realized like I have to do French. I love
That's
it too.
amazing.
I added it on. Yeah, I'm super happy about it.
That's really cool. What's your senior project on?
It's kind of a dense topic that I'm working with, but I'm talking about Quebec identity in the 60s. And I'm using, because it has to be art history, visual culture, I'm like leaning
Right.
more towards visual culture, but I'm talking about two primary case studies, the artists Joyce Wayland and Michel Lalonde's poem Speak White. Those are like the main things I'm working with. Yeah. What about
Wow.
you? What are you doing your sproj on?
I'm studying the appropriation of Arthurian legend from Welsh culture into French culture, and I'm specifically focusing on Merlin as a character and how he changes and what that means, sort of culturally and politically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really fun. I'm reading a lot of Old French and Latin texts and trying to read Welsh, which I haven't studied yet, but it's good to have like an English translation alongside it and sort of see certain linguistic patterns. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully in grad school I'll study Welsh. So, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the amazing thing about Bard, like the languages that you can pick. So like for me it was Old French. I think that's actually why I chose to study French in the first place, just so I would have like a modern French basis for Old French.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy. I don't think I've ever read any Old French. It's very bold of you.
that's fair enough. There's like there's not much reason. Like it's I I wouldn't have known about it really as a concept at all, except that I wanted to study Old Norse, but and I was thinking about like, okay, what can I do with a medieval studies degree? What should I try and focus on? And then I was thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of romance literature, and that's actually in Old French, so I should learn Old French.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to take the intensive because I didn't
Yeah.
know any French before I got here. So and it's amazing because I think it's now been like almost 3.5 years since I started learning French, and I think that I've got a pretty solid base on it, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is very encouraging and impressive for this
Yeah,
point.
wow. I'm very impressed. Took
Cool,
me a
thanks.
very long time to learn French.
I think the intensive is a really good program. I
Wow,
was
I didn't take it, but I heard it's like pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's scary, because it's like you see that it's 2 hours a day for 5 days a week, and you think there's no way I can manage that. But Odile and Eric they split up the intensive, and so Odile takes the first hour, and that's really fun because she's sort of like the one who gets you going in the morning. Like she makes sure everyone's awake and has a solid focus on grammar and the language and everything. And Eric comes along and makes everyone laugh for the second hour, and then we learn a lot, and you don't even realize the time has passed. So it's really fun and not at all stressful like I thought it would be. So I think that's pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. You haven't done study abroad, have you?
I did actually, yeah. I was studying in Paris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was. It was really amazing. It was like last spring semester, yeah, the spring semester of 2020.
Hmm.
Well, I did unfortunately have to leave prematurely because of
Oh,
COVID, but
damn.
yeah, the first 2 months there were really amazing. It's very sad to leave, but I'm glad I did it anyway.
Yeah. What did you do there? Like what was it like?
I don't know if you know about any of the French study abroad programs, but I was doing Coupa, which is like
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you basically like go to French institutions in Paris. I was going to the Sorbonne, and yeah, it was really amazing. And
How many
it's
classes did you take? What, like,
like what classes did I take?
yeah.
Let me think. I was taking this super amazing painting class, like in this like private like workshop in Paris.
No way.
Yeah, everyone was like like at least twice my age, but it was
Wow.
pretty amazing to be around these like very talented French artists. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had a great time.
That's
Then I
like
was
a
taking,
dream. That's insane.
yeah, it was really cool. And then I was taking this like American literature class at the Sorbonne, which was pretty interesting just to see how they kind of like view American culture. And my professor was always asking me like, well, what do you think? And I don't know, it was like an experience. Just to be at a French institution at that level was really enriching. And I'm glad I did it, even though I had to leave early. But
Yeah.
and you abroad?
Same thing sort of. I was going to this fall, but because of COVID I couldn't, which is fair enough. I'm gonna try and go for grad school. I did get to study abroad for the summer right after the intensive, which was just like a month in Tours, which is in the Loire Valley, and we studied at a sort of like, I think it was a high school institute, and we were drilled in just learning the language for 4 weeks straight. And there were two teachers. There was one who was really nice and one who was really harsh. And the harsh one was the one who was taking care of like our pronunciation. So it was kind of like, it was a real eye opener. That's where I learned to like do the correct French R. I will be forever grateful for that, no matter how unfair I thought she was sometimes. I think it was worth it. You know, I think it was like interesting to see the different educational methods. And it was just beautiful there. For me, it was interesting because we saw so many medieval castles. So I think that was great.
Very nice.
What about other classes you've taken apart? Like, so intensive.
Like French classes?
Yeah, first language classes and then French adjacent.
Yeah. I don't think I've really taken any language classes that are just like language instruction. I came to Bard already speaking French. So I just like went from in my freshman year, I just went straight to the upper level seminars, and I think I took 3 with Marina, all of which were amazing. Yeah, the first one I took was Autrement dit, Paroles de Femmes, which was basically a French literature class, and we read like exclusively French female authors.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was the first semester, my first semester of college really at Bard. So I was like, wow, this is like really cool. I need to keep doing this. And Marina is just such an amazing professor. So then I took past, present, and future conversations from Montaigne to Beckett, which was like a French philosophy class. And I'd never read a lot of those French writers. So that was really fascinating. And then I took literature of private life again with Marina, which was equally as amazing. So that's kind of the 3 classes that really drew me into the French department, I think. Yeah.
That's amazing. Like I told you earlier, I've never taken a class with her. So what's she like as a professor?
I mean, she really is the one that brought me into the French department. I think I had a rough time with some French professors in my past who can be you know, they're not the type of professors that like hold your hand and like necessarily, I mean, it depends, but I think when I met Marina and she was just like so welcoming and made me feel so like safe in the classroom, that really like spoke to me. And she's just extremely intelligent, and I really like loved her lectures. And I think something about the French department that has really helped me is that it is so small. And so the classes at that level are so small and intimate. And like it would be like 5 of us like sitting at a table. So that's another thing that really drew me to the French department, I think.
Yeah, like it's small, it's personalized. You really get, like, if you want to do something that hasn't really been done so much before, you can use the resources in the French department. You can make your own kind of degree out of whatever it is, because there's so much flexibility, like, and And I think I like it. I'm sure you've noticed this, like when you do French studies, you can, all the distribution requirements that you have to do at Bard, a lot of them fit the French studies criteria. So you can, it's sort of like kill two birds with one stone, but you can do it in a way that frames your degree really easily. So for me, because I was doing medieval studies and French studies, which I'm sure people have done before Bard, but I don't think anyone else is doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make sure I got the medieval studies requirements and the French studies ones, and of course the conservatory, which is kind of overwhelming. But having enough overlap between French and medieval and distribution really helped, and being able to do like, I think the French language classes have been amazing, but I think even more amazing is the stuff that's like cross-listed. So like I took a French political thought class with Ken Duong, who doesn't teach her anymore, but he was in the political studies department, and the class was called The Death of Man, and it was about the philosophy of humanism and anti-humanism, and like that arc of like God is the center of the universe, man is the center of the universe, language is the center of the universe, and then nothing is the center of the universe anymore. And it was brilliant because before that I'd been very much focused on just medieval studies, and that sort of got me interested in modern France and politics, which is what got me to use a little bit of politics in my senior project. So I think that was, it was really influential and really inspiring, and also like just something I would not have thought to take or explore, but was offered at Bard, really luckily. And then of course there's like the French history classes, and I think the French history faculty are amazing. Like, do you know Tabitha Ewing and Christian Crouch and all of them?
I've heard of them, but I've never taken classes with them.
Cool. Well, I think they're really brilliant because well, especially Tabitha Ewing, because I took a class with her last semester. She has an approach to history that I have never encountered before, which is absolutely brilliant. Because I think that's another thing about Bard's faculty, that a lot of them are about challenging your perspective and really setting you up well for entering the world with like a new point of view, and not just like, you know how with most history it's about the past and studying the past, and a lot of professors take it from a perspective of the past and all of that, but like what I remember with Tabitha Ewing was, you know, I don't really know how to put this into words, like a reversal, like looking at things from the perspective of not the people who write history, not the conquerors, but the people who were subdued, and like what documents can we find about them, what were they trying to say. So I thought that was brilliant, and again that influenced my sproj. So I think like all these opportunities I wouldn't have necessarily thought to take, the kind of just the French program either says you have to do or like presents as an option, like really changed my perspective on things generally. So
yeah, I also took that class you were talking about, the Death of Man, Humanism and Humanism in 20th Century France. I took that with Eric, and it was like,
oh, you did?
an amazing class, and like really helped me like understand French culture in such a different way through these authors that are just like so revolutionary, and also really impacted my sproj and my research, which is
so
another thing,
cool.
like, taking these like cool classes and then like all of a sudden you realize like your sproj is like shifting in like a different direction, and like you're like understanding it in such a different way. I definitely relate to that. Yeah,
I love that you took that class. That's so amazing. Wow. What specific text, because for me it was the whole oh gosh, like, oh gosh, I've really forgotten all of my terminology, but it was something to do with like part of it was the self and the other, and part of it was the structure of language, like, oh, the signifier and the signified. That was what really got me in that class. What was the part for you, or anything?
Honestly, something pretty similar, just like structuralism and post-structuralism, like having the understanding of that. Like you encounter those terms so much like in college and all of these like theory classes, and I don't think I ever really understood like what that meant. And the same with the signified and the signifier, like understanding those concepts in that class, like, and just realizing like how impactful French thought was from that period, and how much I encountered it in so many of my classes, but like didn't really understand
Yeah.
And now like I'll be reading things and there's so many of those authors are referenced all the time, or like those
Yeah.
movements. And now I'm like, oh, I actually understand what that is. Like, and it just
That
makes such a difference.
that's amazing. I actually really love, first of all, I really love that we've both taken that class and that it's had that effect, but I also really love just the way these very separate classes in the French department all link together. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the faculty overall is really impressive. Like, first of all, oh sorry. First of all, it's just well, they're all very kind, obviously, and really supportive, and like they'll make things happen. Like when I wanted to take Old French, I wanted to make sure that it was 4 credits and it would be a history distribution. And they made, like, the French faculty made that work. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to not panic about another class that I would have to cover. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just, also, I really want to mention Karen Sullivan, because one, she's my advisor, so I'm a little bit biased, but two, the main point, she's absolutely amazing. She's the person who's inspired me throughout all of my medieval studies, and the person who's guided me through, what I should try and read, what I should learn, what I should pick to focus on, really helping me through my Spanish. And also, even if you aren't that interested in medieval studies, she's an amazing professor just to take, because she will make you interested. She'll make it fascinating, whatever she's teaching. I don't know if you've met her or heard of her or.
I haven't. I always think those are the best professors though, when you like
Yeah.
don't even necessarily like, I don't know, you don't know the topic, you're not like that thrilled about it, and then you get into the classroom and it's like suddenly I need to know everything about this.
Yeah, exactly. And every single student I've met of hers, like even just people who are maybe a biology major who took the heroic age as a distribution requirement, that student will really love it. And they all love her office because it's like, it's got such a medieval aura and it's got all these books. And I think at one point there was a sword, and maybe there still is. And she's just really cool. I love professors like that who have, and also the best part is she has a map of Brittany, but like mythological Brittany outside her office. So I'll just like look at it and try and translate, like, each point on the map has a story, and it has like a paragraph in, I think it's either Old French or Modern French, describing what happened there. And like I'll just stand outside her office waiting for a meeting, and I'll just try and translate a section of it. That's just me being a nerd though. So, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
I would hugely recommend the French studies program if you're a conservatory student who's trying to make everything work, because French is always a really useful language to learn for music. The faculty is amazing. You'll learn so much. You have so many opportunities. You can go into basically any field with French studies. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think honestly, the professors are just so amazing. Even just my freshman year, like, you know, Marina would like invite us all over to her house, and we would
So
like
cool.
lunch and like hang out in her backyard and play with her dog and like talk about, and this was all in French too, and talk about, we're all writing, and like it was just such an amazing environment. And some classes we would all like run down to her office and like drink espresso with her. It was just such a great experience, and I think that's what really drew me into the department, is these amazing professors. And he too has been helping me so much with my sproj, and like he's not even my advisor, and I can send him an email and I know like he'll respond within 24 hours and give me something amazing to work with. And I think that's really what I love the most about the French department.
Completely agree. Yeah, they're like my parents away from home. Like, Odil's not my advisor, but she would set aside advising sessions for me every year that I asked, which would always make me feel really just looked after. And because I didn't know what I was doing with French studies at all. Like, I had no idea.
I mean, so confused.
Right?
Yeah.
But they really all help you through any kind of difficulty. French studies are, all the professors are super reliable. There's never a time when they won't help.
Totally agree.
Yeah. I'm really glad that's been also your experience, because now I don't feel like I'm just making it up.
No, not at all. Yeah.